Don't hit the pause button. Keep the buttons going forever. It's time for This Week in Mormons. Once more, everybody. We're hitting it up, and we're making it happen. Time to talk about the things.
Hitting it up and making it happen.
Yeah,
Like, that was our dating strategy in college, too.
Didn't work.
Did not work.
No.
Hey, girl.
It was awful.
Just hitting you up.
Woo!
We're going to make it happen.
That's what I'd walk around the Wilkinson Center and be like, "What's up? What's up, baby?"
With your whistle. Woo!
I acted just like what's his name? I can't think of the
Michael
character
Scott.
Right. I wish I acted like Michael Scott.
I declare bankruptcy.
I acted exactly like Seth Green in Can't Hardly Wait, his character. That was a great one. Yo, what's up? You just took me for a flavor.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Can't Hardly Wait, the 1998 classic teen comedy. Everyone should watch it.
Okay.
Love Burger, Al. Love Burger. That's all I have to say to you. I don't know what you did in the 90s, but I had a great time. You seem to have been... You were like working at Applebee's or something. I don't know what you were doing. It was strange.
What was I watching? I had Malibu's Most Wanted was what I was watching.
I used to love this show on USA when USA had much worse original fare. It was called Pacific Blue, all about bike cops in Los Angeles. It was serious, that show.
I'm sorry, on a bike cot?
It was a show about cops, police officers, but bike police officers.
Oh, so, yeah. You know, Paul Blart, Mall Cop. I love
the nitty-gritty world of bike cops in L.A. It was something else. I enjoyed it.
They're out there, man.
Al, how is your life? How are you? What's going on with you? Life
is tremendous. I went and got set apart last night. I loved, like, the last show. I was like, I'm a high council man. We had a very nice gentleman wrote in and saved me a lot of embarrassment future. And he said, "You're not a high council man. You're a member of the high council. There is no high counselorship that you have."
I think you're a counselor with a not spelled like you're counseling, but council. You're a counselor, like in an old Roman form.
I don't know that's true because I sit on a council, right? I'm not a counselor per se. In a presidency, you have counselors.
Well, these are different spellings, though, of counselor. That's COUNSELOR, to provide counsel.
And I'm counsel with a CIL.
You're COUNCIL, yes. So you are...
Well, I don't know. I've just taken to... I'm a member of the High Council, and that has saved me any heartache. I've been very appreciative. Thank you, Twim Army.
I
Twim
feel
Nation.
Like this is very similar to the whole copies of the Book of Mormon thing. I don't know. It's just... I'm going to call you...
And then you settle and you just say, I have one copy of the Book of Mormon and then another copy of the Book of Mormon times 15. That's what I have. Figure it out, people.
There you go. But I'm still going to refer to you as... I'm going to call you from now on High Priest Al. That's my name for you.
HPA can be our acronym.
HPA. That's weird, though, man. You're in the High Priest group now. Whenever this calling ends, you are going to be stuck going to the High Priest group with all the old guys.
Yeah, that's definitely going to happen, and I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. It's great though. This whole calling is just like, all right, you roaming random wanderer, just go roam and random wander for Jesus now. Now it's official. If
you want
to. So I really like. I have my first speaking assignment on Sunday.
Yeah.
Which very excited about. Well, I mean, it's just like sort of a reason to prepare talks and things.
The question is,
I'm excited about this whole calling is one of those things where I'm like, all right, this is stuff that I'm not great at. Let's jump in there and get good.
Yeah, it's a good challenge. So having grown up there, but this is what I wonder. You've grown up there in the sticks, so people probably know you, but your stick is also very, very spread out and big. So like, how known are you already in the stick? Like when you show up in your
spread out and big, and I have not technically lived here for almost 10 years.
Yeah. So when you go visit wards, you're not really assuming people are going to be like, oh, Al Doan is in the High Council. You're just going to be some stranger High Counselor who shows up. Sorry, member of the High Council
right.
that shows up.
That's right. I've got like 3 or 4 families that I still know from out here. But almost everyone, I just have no clue.
Well, they're going to be surprised by your height and potentially your beard.
They'll be wowed by my choice of suit.
Or lack thereof.
Everybody, they all made fun of me when. Well, I have suits, but I have like designer shirts I wear with them now. So I have like a blue plaid that I was wearing.
Hold on. What defines these as designer shirts? Did you just go pick them up at some rack or something, and you're wearing designer shirts?
No, Jeff, I had a Black Friday special 2 years ago where I ordered like 6 custom-made shirts, and they have been delightful.
Did you get these from Sky Mall or something? Where do you...
No, I had a tailor come and tailor them.
Are they monogrammed? Do they say
yes,
ARD?
Absolutely.
Do they say ARD on the cuffs?
They say AD, yeah.
Why don't you have your middle initial on them?
I don't triple a niche.
Now it just says AD. That doesn't make sense.
As opposed to ARD.
ARD would have been a lot better, I think, for sure.
Yeah. No,
oh, my goodness. Well,
so now I got my fancy shirts, and that's all I have because all of the white shirts I have, if I buy shirts that are long enough to fit my arms, which are an ungodly, like a 28-inch length, they're just crazy. And then
you should be longer than that. Maybe 38 inch?
No,
is what you mean? I wear a 34-35 sleeve, so I think you're talking 30.
Oh yeah. I'm 30. That's right. I'm 38.
Okay.
And so and my neck is like a 19-inch neck. I'm just like I'm a big fella.
Yeah.
And
you're a big guy.
And so like when I get those, it's like built for a Samoan guy. And so like the shoulders are like drooping down the sides of my arms, and like it's way too big. I'm like in my dad's shirt, and so I have like these big goofy shirts that are the white shirts you get from JCPenney. Or I have a couple of custom done ones that fit really well.
Why didn't you you should have gotten a white shirt from the custom ones.
I got one, but I can't seem to find it. I was going to wear it last night. It's lost somewhere in the move.
Now, do these shirts require cufflinks? Are they that snazzy? Do you have French cuffs going on there?
No, I opted out of the cufflinks. I feel like that takes too much time.
Oh, cufflinks are fun.
There's a level of it just feels pretentious to me.
It's not pretentious.
When you've got to fold that cuff back
then
pin it yourself.
The cufflinks are more pretentious than the guy who goes and orders and has a tailor come to him and give him custom shirts. I ask you to
I don't want to
go
over the top. No, I don't want to go over the top with the cuff links, Jeff. That says I'm rich, I'm fancy. I just want the standard 2-button cuff. That's all I'm looking for.
Are you wearing fancy shoes
on my custom tailored shirt?
What's going to give you away is if you wear fancy shoes. People aren't going to notice your shirt, but they will notice if you're wearing fancier shoes. That's what's going to define you as I did
step up and I got the slip-on brown shoes.
So you're wearing Hush Puppies.
On Zappos.
Good job.
Yeah. They're very comfy.
I'm excited for you. I'm hoping are they Bostonians?
How are we dissecting my wardrobe? How did we
Because I love fashion, Al, obviously.
You love fashion?
Here's the thing. I dress like a slob most of the time, but when I dress up for church, I actually take great pride in my appearance. I try to look nice. So I always wear suits to church. End of story. I wear suits.
That's a
church.
thing.
And I wear my shirts, and I like to coordinate my ties and my socks, and I wear cufflinks, and I have a tie pin, and not always. Not all of these are worn every time. I wear bow ties sometimes. It just all depends. Depends on the mood.
I feel like you're the kind of guy where when you're old and we all go to the temple and everybody's dressed in white and looks the same, you'll be the guy with that snuck the gold watch in and the pure gold tie pin.
No, I wouldn't.
You're just like, yeah, we're all the same, but you know what's really.
Actually, I wouldn't be. I went for a long time. I actually wear my watch now in sessions. I don't know why. I got to the point where I felt comfortable just keeping my watch on because I used to take off everything because I did not want to have any adornments or anything like that. But I even go to. But here I even go, and that's good. But I do my white shirt requires cufflinks though, and so I was like, I don't want to have distracting cufflinks. So I actually have a pair of white kind of just pearly type cufflinks that I wear.
You got pearl cufflinks.
They're not actually pearl. The point is they look like sort of a light mother of pearl. The point is they blend in. That's my whole point. They look no different than if I just had a white. Pearl. They look no different if I had just like a button on my shirt because I didn't want to stand out. Because you'd feel weird wearing cufflinks with the Scottish flag in the middle of a session. That would be strange.
But you'll wear your fossil watch.
I don't. No. I am quality. I have a Timex.
Panama Jack from Walmart.
Well, I'm excited that you are going to be well-groomed and dressed, and I'm sure that's what's going to matter most, other than your remarks and the spirit you bring with you as a high counselor.
So some of the topics, though, that they get, like, we always kind of make fun of high counselorship talks, because they are often very dry and, like, strictly doctrine-based, but the topics are kind of hard. I mean, like this topic this week is sacrament in our stake. And I'm like, there's not a lot of great stories about when I was a kid and had to take the sacrament and what happened. And so, like, I'm trying to think of sort of an angle that I could tell or approach the talk and have it not be completely just, let me read you this talk by Elder Scott. Which is what
Oh, go ahead.
Which is what I get a lot of the times when I go when you go and listen to talks. I mean, people just try and spew doctrine or some sort.
Yeah. Well, you could broaden it out. You could take the concept of sacrament in the broader Christian context, which basically means an ordinance, and then just talk about ordinances. See? There you go. Just say, what is a sacrament? Let's get into the etymology and then do the classic move and say the Webster's Dictionary defines sacrament.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, people love that.
Yeah, be that guy.
That's a good point. Okay. All right.
Tell a joke about, like, when President so-and-so was asking me to speak, I was like, whoa. And then
do my best Peter Griffin impression.
The high counselors, the members of the high council do not usually do the, when I got this assignment jokes. You should bring that back.
Dude, that'd be so funny. My stake president called me last night.
So, yeah, when I was on my mission, or when I got back from my mission, rather, I was doing a little bit of the rounds in the stake, speaking, to the wards, not just my home ward. And I went up there and I said, brothers and sisters, it's great to be here. I bring the love and greetings of absolutely no one. That was my pun, because I was just a dude. I wasn't a member of the high council like you fancy boy. Fancy boy.
You just brought Jesus. That's good, Jeff. That's the good stuff.
Well, good for you.
Hey, man. So how was your week?
It's fine. Well, I guess we've dabbled in your fashion for some time. My week's been fine, uneventful. We have a neighbor that smokes, and it's cold right now, and so
it's all coming up the window, isn't it?
It's coming up the vents or something. Drives me crazy. We did this last year, and I put saran wrap and sealed up some of the vents in the back of our apartment, which is where it happens, but it's a little bit frustrating. I do not understand.
Can you just go downstairs and knock on the door and say, hey, bro?
No, it's the one next to us, actually, and she's a nurse. Shouldn't she know better? I mean, come on.
Can't you just have you talked to her?
No, because what am I going to say? Hey, can you not smoke? I mean, it's her deal.
We'll just say, hey, just so you know, the smoke is coming in through the vents. Maybe she just doesn't know.
She might. I don't know. So I don't understand smoking. I mean, people, I imagine some of you listening to this show at some point in your life have taken a drag. I would not be shocked. I would assume
that's what the kids are calling it now. I would assume a drag.
I would assume it's happened.
That was a blatant old man reference to smoking. Some of you kids, in the sound of my voice, have taken a toke or a drag on one of them cigarettes.
A toke is different. A toke is from weed. This is a drag of a cigarette.
One of those on one of them cancer sticks.
Well, point is, I don't understand how anyone does it. I think it's just so gross. How did anyone smoke? How does anyone do it? I am at a loss. It smells terrible. It's bad. And it just smells awful. And you smell terrible. Al, have you ever kissed a girl who smokes?
I never have, Jeff.
Okay, well, I'm going to admit something here.
You know what I find incredibly attractive, though? A woman chewing tobacco.
Yeah.
Cannot get enough of that action.
Okay, my wife sometimes listens. Now, I've lied to my wife. I've told her she's the only woman I've ever kissed. But I'm going to come but I'm going to come clean about that now. So
wait, you kissed a woman that smokes?
I did, like, years ago. I was like 18 or something like that. And it was disgusting.
We were all young once.
It was disgusting. It is like licking asphalt. It is the worst. It is just Oh,
Did she try one of those like spray mint in your mouth sprayers?
you mean
That fixes
you
it.
mean Banaka, or are we not trying to drop names?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Just,
a generic mint spritzer. I don't.
That's right.
I don't remember anything. I just remember how terrible it was. It's gross. It's gross. Don't smoke, people.
So you did all the work to get to that smooch, and then you were like,
Al, it doesn't take any work. I have this magnetism that cannot be denied. I mean, let's be honest.
That's fair, Jeff.
Let's be honest with ourselves.
Jeff, that's fair. Okay. Well,
we've bantered too long today. Let's move on.
Of crazy women in our past. Can we talk about the Millennial Mormons post? That's hilarious.
If you want. I want to be a little bit careful because I think they're trying to be private. But sure, if you want.
Well, how are you private with this saga that unfolds?
She pulled it and then
drama.
She pulled it and then tweeted about pulling it and said, like, "Hey, I pulled this because I want to just kind of get it behind it." So that's all. I don't want to, or get it behind her. So I just don't want to. I don't want to drum up.
So there's a blog which we've referenced a few times called Millennial Mormons.
Many of you know it. It's very popular.
It's run by two young whippersnappers, Sam, the female from Britain, and Blake, some random bloke of sorts here in the U.S. Well, so they're running it fine. A couple of weeks ago, Sam gets engaged to another man, not to Blake. I suspect that this is the fountain of all of this drama that's unfolded. Because, I mean, he's a guy, single girl, and you're hoping things are going to, like, you're doing all this extra work. All of a sudden, she's engaged to someone else, and you are just sad.
I like that this is what you're reading into. That you think that's what's going on.
No, absolutely, man. Like, especially if this guy is the computer nerd sort, where he's doing a lot of the work, a lot of the setup, a lot of the maintaining and blah blah blah, and you got this cute girl that's just rocking and rolling on the side. And you're thinking, well, I mean, maybe if she sees, and this is a legitimate thought for computer nerds, if she can see how fast I'm typing, maybe she'll be really into me. And then you type super fast while she's around. Or, like that's how we're saying, I got a chance. Let me go fix this. If she sees all of the monitors plugged in at the same time, she's going to be very impressed.
Yeah.
So I better set this
She'll
up.
say, I know the typical docking station can support 2 monitors, but how did you get a third?
I'm running 6, and it's all using Linux, ladies.
Yeah.
These are real thoughts. And so this is going on. Then all of a sudden, poop goes down. She gets engaged. Site is commandeered by Blake, and Samantha posts a angry blog post complete with text message snapshots of their conversations and how they hate each other now, and she's lost everything, and she's getting married, and screw him. And I like it. I feel like some good dramatic Mormon young people fodder is good. I mean, Jeff, I feel like we could really drive ratings had you and I maybe got into some fake fights. Well, we've had some real fights even along the years. But had we aired our dirty laundry on personal blogs,
that's how it should be.
That
yes.
sort?
That's how
it should be. We could really drive traffic.
This does raise the question, though, Al. Do I need to be protected? Do we need some more formal agreements between?
That's the even better part. Is it's like, so let's say we took Twim. Twim has a total value of $0 to anyone ever. We've got thousands of listeners, but like, there are thousands of listeners. I mean, we know you guys. You're all penny pinching Mormon types. It doesn't do us any use to advertise to you. You're savvy people. Unless it was like Melaleuca or something, and then you'd all buy for some reason. I don't understand it. But like, so Millennial Mormons, they've made nothing on any of their attempts at advertising or any of that stuff. You just don't make money on a Mormon satire news site.
Oh, you'd be surprised, Al.
I don't think I would.
I think you would be shocked. The stunning revelation.
I think the fact that Deseret Book can't even make a viable income should say something about how hard it is to make it.
Who says Deseret Book doesn't make a viable income? Sherry Dew has taken Deseret Book into the black. Hardcore into the black.
Yeah, because now they ship a Deseret newspaper with every church news free subscription.
No, it's not just that. Deseret News used to operate at a loss before Sherry Do, and now they turn a profit.
Well, good.
What I've done is I have taken what you've said and I have refuted it. Ha ha ha.
I'm just saying it. Not. I mean, if there was a Sherry Do at the Millennial Mormons, I would be excited for them. They would be making money. There's not. No one's making money. LDS Living, Meridian Magazine, how much money do you think these sites?
I forgot, Al. These are all just like delightful nonprofits that do it for the love of the cause. Nobody enters a business with the expectation to make money. That's not what business is all about.
No, I think that they're all operating with like paying a salary here and there. I don't think anybody is getting rich off any of that stuff.
Well, maybe not rich, but there's a difference between making money, at least turning a profit, and not making any money and requiring to be subsidized.
No, I disagree. Either you are making real money or you're earning a wage that you have to do all the work to earn.
Well, either way, the point is we don't know if Millennial Mormons was pulling. They had a big year. I mean, they got very big.
She references. He says that he's going to tell on BYU Idaho that they made money. She said, "Great, tell them we've made under $200." I
know. Because
that says to me they're getting the same advertising rates that every other Mormon blog.
Well, yeah, I mean, CPC is never that great on anything. You got to drive a lot of traffic to have a CPC that's actually worth it, which is why I sincerely doubt we will ever host ads on our website. If This Week in Mormons ever has ads, you will hear them in the middle of the show, where we will say, "Let me tell you about Tahitian noni." It is a delicious product, full of nutrients.
Have you guys tried New Skin? It's a multi-level marketing scam in Provo.
But it's not a scam. It's an opportunity. Al, we need to work on your PR language. It's an opportunity.
Yeah.
Opportunity.
My bad, Ray. My bad.
It's all about opportunities. Yes.
Allegedly a scam.
Speaking of, I'm going to move on from this. Speaking of, though, opportunities and PR language, you might have seen that the BYU beard ban has been amended. If you haven't, go visit our website at thisweekinmormons.com.
I did not see this.
And read all about it. So what happened is...
and I own the website.
But I provided the content.
If you love good, teenager meltdowns, you're going to love this story. Good work, Jeff.
All right, thank you.
What are we talking about? The beard ban.
Yeah. So they had the beard ban for a long time. You've been able to get exemptions if it's a medical thing or if you were growing it for a play or a film or something like that. We've reported a lot recently on some so-called protests to try to change the beard ban. Also some clamping down at LDS Business College. A lot of these things happened over the fall. And, of course, it got national coverage. New York Times even wrote about the beard ban. So BYU is now amending the beard ban to finally allow for a religious freedom exemption as well. BYU has a number of, in particular, Muslim students. There are those of other faiths as well, of course. But we have a pretty firm outreach program with the Palestinian communities, particularly because of the Jerusalem Center, things along those lines. So there are a number of Palestinian Arabs who come and attend BYU in sort of an exchange thing, and we sponsor them and stuff like that. But they're Muslims. Many of them would prefer to have a beard, but we have in the past told them, well, tough luck. You're at BYU, and we have an honor code, and you're welcome here. But you need to shave that beard because there's a standard at BYU for everybody. It doesn't matter what faith.
Are we allowed to claim religious sort of religious exemption? Because the Muslim claim is that the prophet had a beard and it's a tradition and they're supposed to.
It's not
to have a beard.
It's not just Muhammad. It goes a little bit deeper than that. I mean, it goes all the way back to, they believe, ancient teachings of Abraham, that he was supposed to grow his beard and keep everything else groomed. Islam has very clear grooming tradition.
I feel like Amish people would be allowed to have a beard under this clause.
Potentially, yeah.
Why not Mormon people that were following in the footsteps of Lorenzo Snow?
Because we don't have any kind of an actual scriptural tradition that discusses the importance of the beard, sadly. We don't.
Where's the scriptural tradition that discusses the importance of the beard in almost any of these religions?
I was just referencing some of that with Abraham, like I just said. The point is,
we believe in Abraham.
But we don't believe him in the same way as Muslims do. I mean, Sikhs.
I do now.
What about Sikhs? Sikhs also believe in having beards. That's a part of their faith identity. And so, it's different for us. We might have had an old pioneer tradition, but that was just American mid-19th century tradition. People just had beards back then. It wasn't much else.
John Taylor neck beard drew him closer to the Lord.
There we go. And I'm a defender. I mean, full disclosure, I have a beard. I think BYU should fully amend the honor code and allow anyone to have a well-groomed, well-maintained beard. Nothing crazy, not big, scruffy, messy beards. But if you want to have a nice, well-groomed beard, then sure. Well, I don't see why that should be.
Full disclosure, we both have beards.
Yeah, but
and I am actively trying to grow a man bun.
Yeah, I don't know about the whole man bun thing you're doing. I think that's.
I don't know if I can pull it off. That's a long time to wait, but I'm doing my best.
You're gonna look awful when you do it.
Sweet sassy Lassie. I'm doing my best here.
You're gonna look.
It's not awful.
Awful.
No. Have you seen how attractive those European soccer players are with the man bun?
Yeah, and I've seen.
Can you imagine?
And Jared Leto. Yeah, it's great.
I don't know Jared Leto, but
my god,
I'm giving it my all, man. I'm giving it my all. I'm gonna give it another maybe 2 months. I just need to be able to play a game of basketball with a bad ponytail.
You think 2 months is gonna be enough? I've seen
it's
your
my
hair.
Midlife crisis.
You're way more than 2 months away from being able to pull off a man bun.
It's a midlife crisis man bun. We're allowed to do this.
So there's no word on man buns at BYU, but I imagine those are also frowned upon. Either way, so now they can claim religious exemption, which I think is great. It does make religious freedom an interesting discussion because while we have pushed, our religious freedom to have the identity we want with BYU, it has potentially been denying others their full freedom of religious expression. And that's good. And I'll give BYU credit. Carrie Jenkins, the spokeswoman for BYU, said that this was the result of actually taking feedback from BYU students. She says, of course, though, it's not a result of any of the press coverage over the fall and, sort of reacting to the negative campaigning of that. It's a reaction to discussing it with locals. So you can spin it however you want. I mean, I figure what else is a PR person going to say? Like, oh, yeah, we don't like what they said here in the New York Times, and it made us look kind of dumb, and so we've revisited our policy. That would convey that one can be swayed or changed.
Sure.
Based on this or that. But either way, so even if they were embarrassed into it, I do think there is a slight difference because, if they took time to talk with people one-on-one and get their feedback rather than getting it secondhand from the press, but actually talking to people, that's good and that's positive. And Are
we still talking about beards right now?
Yeah, that's all. Well, it was all looping it back around to PR spins and things. Anyway,
well, you've done it well because I am a fan of beards also still. This is what I want to talk about. There was a woman at a LDS singles event at a bishop's home, and the bishop had set up a zip line, and the woman used the zip line and then fell and hurt her back. Now, this is the nature of zip lines. If you do not hold on to the zip line, you will fall up to 15 feet. And this happened in real life. No, I would expect that people would say, I'm an idiot. I fell off a zip line. It's not your fault, Bishop, for having this activity. It's not your fault, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, for letting me be a part of your group and encouraging us to get together and do fun things. No, it's my fault because I have weak upper body strength and cannot hold on to a zip line. Instead, what actually happened was this woman sues the bishop, who is protected by State Farm insurance, and then State Farm turns and sues the church, and says, no, you are responsible for the $400,000 in medical bills and $6 million in damages. So on and on it goes. The judge in the end sides with the church and says it is not responsible for the incident that happened at the bishop's home. Instead, it's all the bishop's fault. So, people, as you go and attend things that your bishop is hosting for you or providing, so that you will have a good time and somehow find a man to marry, then don't be one of those people that sues him when you fail. I feel like that's what's going on here. She turned 31, unmarried, and had to go to the mid-singles, and it was a flop. This is a flop. I see right through this. I thought about doing it myself. I'm not judging. I'm just saying we've all been there. Lady, drop the lawsuit. That's what we're saying.
I'm very curious what injuries she sustained. I mean, $100,000 in medical damages is one thing, but $6 million in overall damages. $6 million.
Well, I suppose if she could never walk again.
Yeah.
If you fell 15 feet and fell on a guillotine or something of that nature, maybe an anvil was waiting below, and all your appendages are now gone. I feel like that's worth $6 million. Dang it, Bishop, clean up your yard.
But if she fell and just broke her ankle or fractured her leg, that sucks. And I think that
bishop fell into the grass and now has a headache.
That the bishop's insurance should cover her expenses and any lost work because of it, or an arm or something like that. We need to find her and get her and just get her story. I want to know what the heck
I don't think she could. She probably can't talk anymore.
I know she probably has a gag order, but couldn't we at least say what were the injuries you sustained?
No, I mean due to injuries, she probably is unable to converse. This is worth $6 million.
I want to sue somebody.
Oh, you gotta sue somebody.
You were thinking the Bob Dylan song too? That popped right in my head.
Yes.
You gotta sue somebody.
There's another one over the weekend. Did you see the Ordain women photos, Jeff? Did you see this?
I've put them up in my office as Elders Quorum president. Yes.
Attaboy.
I have my own office.
Attaboy. I hope you didn't put it up on our Facebook page.
The pictures themselves?
Or even a link to the article. Did you link to it on our Facebook?
Of course I linked to the article. I'm waiting for Peggy to backlink to us someday.
This is why everybody hates us, Jeff. So you promote this.
No. If you look at our Facebook page now, I adjusted the page description. I changed it.
What does it say?
It used to say stuff for friends of Mormons, frenemies of Mormons, and enemies of Mormons. Now it says stuff for Mormons, friends of Mormons, or enemies of Mormons. And it says just because we share it doesn't mean we endorse it.
Yeah. Oh, that'll zing them. I bet people are going to figure that out real quick.
I know, right? Because the first thing people do is they read the short description.
They say, hold on, before I judge this page that is promoting this stuff, let me read the description.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, so they put a little campaign together that is showing pictures of what if women had the priesthood. I mean, I don't know why they would bother. You can just go to the RLDS Church's website and pull them down from there. You are welcome to see them.
Yeah, why pay money for all this photo op? You really could have just...
Kate Kelly went out of her way to say that no blessings were actually said while the pictures were taken, which is nice.
No prayers were uttered.
No prayers were uttered. Also, just while I've got you on my side here, did you see that old missionary doing the Let It Snow variation of Frozen? That guy owned it. I'm not sure why or how you get that much time as a missionary to work on a parody version of a Frozen song, but he did just a phenomenal job.
It's
and
so
the full
good.
3.5 minute score. I mean, it was not like one verse. He was like, no, I'm going all the way.
Oh, he even did the bridge.
Old man couple missionary guy, and he's serving in Palmyra. Just took the internet by storm, Kim Kardashian style. He broke the internet. And that
I
was
love
his goal.
him. Guys, he only has 35,000 views so far. What happens to a Californian who finds himself in upstate New York during the cold of winter? What happens?
Ruh-roh. What now?
What happens is he gets a great tracking shot of him walking through the Smith family farm, looking ponderous, pensive.
Dude, it was so good. I couldn't have
answering his cell phone while he walks.
What's that? Oh, it's warm in California? Let me get back to my song. Let it snow. Let it snow.
I love him. I wonder if he would come on the show.
We couldn't handle him on the show.
Just be like, John Neely.
All right.
Tell us more. Tell us more, John Neely.
Jeff, I feel like you're wasting time here.
That's what I do. I'm a great time waster. I'll mention that in job interviews and stuff. What's your biggest strength? I'm great at wasting time. Quick thing from Smithsonian.com, Smithsonian Magazine. The 100 most significant Americans of all time. They put together a list. The top 100 broken out into different categories like trailblazers, rebels, and resistors, presidents, first women. Interestingly, Pocahontas is one
There
of
are
them.
religious leaders in this list?
I feel like the first women category should be renamed. I mean, it says first women, but like
Really, it should be first
like
ladies.
four of them are actual first women, but it's okay. I get what they're saying. Pocahontas, Oprah Winfrey, outlaws, Jesse James, John Wilkes Booth, artists, Andy Warhol.
What are you saying? Joseph Smith and Brigham Young are in there.
That's what I'm saying. And down at religious figures, Joseph Smith, number 1, even though I don't think they're actually ranking these, and Brigham Young is number 3. We beat William Penn, but William Penn has a state named after him. Let us rename Utah Smithsylvania.
I like it.
To honor him.
Brigham Hood.
I'm going to choose to believe that Youngstown, Ohio is named after Brigham Young.
I feel safe saying that.
Anyways, that's a cool list. I think, I mean, when you're looking at religious leaders, at least the top 10 in our history, I think that's pretty impressive to have 2 Mormon leaders make that cut. Good for us.
Yeah.
Good for America. I don't see Pope Francis on there. Am I right? That's right.
Eat it, Pope Francis.
What's that you say? He's from Argentina, so he doesn't qualify? Hogwash. I don't care.
Do not care. Let's see. There's another article this week.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that one on mental illness.
Okay.
There's just a quick discussion, and I'd be curious to get some of your thoughts on this. This guy, very prepared to go on a mission, goes on a mission. While he's there, some of the stresses of the mission like draw out and amplify some mental illness that was there through his youth, but he was able to contain it pretty easily. But then it becomes a major issue as a missionary, and he comes home early. I've seen this in a couple of friends that were like. Just being out there, I mean, it's all of a sudden an immense amount of stress and mental stamina required to be successful as a missionary. And typically, I mean, it's sort of the throw you into the water and you'll figure out how to swim approach to this stuff. There's not a therapist in the mission, and people, you just got to figure it out. You got to get out there and figure it out. Well, some people,
yeah, maybe
some people go into like a severe depression, which I've seen. Which has been like ultimately debilitating to some of these guys, or like that loneliness / homesickness, where if they've never had to deal with some of that before, a lot of it, I think the parents could have done a better job of preparing just by like letting their children go and be away or like have to function on their own before sending them out, thousands of miles away where they can only call home once a week. But I wonder too. Sort of the overall sentiment of a mission, if that's not changing a little bit just because people are changing. I don't know that. I mean, I think that there's more of this sort of weird awkwardness, social not able to function-ness in our youth today than there probably was 10 or 20 years ago. Would you think, Jeff?
Maybe, but let's make sure that we are distinguishing here. I mean, we're not just talking about social awkwardness and
I'm talking,
and stuff like that. I mean, we're talking about genuine mental. This isn't just neuroses or anything. I mean, you're talking about a genuine mental health condition that affects one's typical day to day. It's more than just having anxiety.
I'm talking a little bit about both, I think.
Well, I know, but this article is about a guy who went on his mission and was diagnosed with not just OCD, but as they describe it, sorry, I forget what its full title is. It's
POSD,
Yeah, I forget what the P stands for. That's why I wanted to find it. I'm sorry, I lost that.
Paranoid.
No,
paranoid.
It's not. You're a terrible person.
Yeah.
You've never actually worked with people who have mental health issues, have you?
I have actually.
I'm convinced you're the one who stands in the room and you're just like, shut up and pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
No. I'm not saying that like the legitimate.
Figure it out.
The like a legitimate mental illness is somehow fixable by having better parenting techniques or something. That's not what I'm trying to say.
No, you think they just have to tough it out.
I'm saying that's the approach that we take to this. Are you not following along with me? That's the
It
approach
seems
we
like
take.
that's the approach. This is what you're endorsing. If you're saying that we need to rethink our approach, then that has yet to come out of your mouth. So please.
Well, I am saying.
Help me understand.
Well, there's I guess an element of like why is this stuff coming out? Like why is it not coming out until a mission, right?
Well, this guy, Elder Brother Grohl, was actually formally diagnosed before he even went in the MTC, so he knew he had it, and he just had to handle it. But of course, once you're in the MTC, you could see symptoms, like it says here, symptoms exploded, which is understandable.
Did you ever have it? Did you ever have a companion that battled some of this?
Not a companion.
Not this exact mental illness, but like
no,
just
not. I never had. I'm thinking if
depression
I
or mental struggles.
I don't think I had any companions that did. Looking back, I can definitely think of some missionaries who did. And what I'm glad to see is in the 11 years since I got back from my mission, that we talk about this stuff now. You wouldn't find these articles written 11 years ago. There were plenty of missionaries who struggled with stuff, and it just no one talked about it. It was just like, oh, pray and fast. And it'll get better, and you'll be okay. And I'm glad to see that we've come a long ways in recognizing the real issues at play here. So I don't think I had companions. My brother suffers from OCD, and he's pretty open about it. And he made it through his whole mission, through 2 years. Bless him. I don't know how he pulled it off, because that must have been really, really hard. And I could see that, in his letters home and stuff. And I knew things were a struggle for him. You could tell when he was having a hard time, but he made it work. I don't know how that was for his companions. I have no idea.
Is there any value in making it work? I mean, that was probably tough. That was tough on him. That was tough on his companions.
That's a good question.
Was he a good fit for a mission?
I think it depends. I mean, he came home after this one here in question, came home after 12 months. But I like that he says that, when he received his mission call, he received a very firm witness that this was an errand that he was needed to go on. That he had as much as covenanted with people in the pre-existence that he would go and serve and find them and take care of them. And so I think that's very much on an case-by-case basis. There are those who suffer enough that they might not be able to go at all. And in that case, they should not be shamed or suffer from the stigma of not going on a mission.
Well, sorry, I don't think so either. I was trying to bridge this into. I think there is an element of a piece of the conversation around just general preparedness, though. There's totally. people in my wards where I've lived that just sort of severe social anxiety, severe debilitating to the point where they don't want to. They want to go on a mission because everybody expects them to go on a mission, but they don't have any desire to be the ones out there doing the tracting and the contacting as we now know it.
And that's tough, man. That's hard. That's tough.
Well, it's interesting because I feel like there's talents in a lot of these guys that are completely overlooked because the only mission that we have available to serve is the traditional go out, and if you can't find anything to do, contact, tract.
That's not
you're
true.
moving every 6 weeks.
Al, did you forget about the whole Facebook missionaries that we've talked about before? You can get called to serve a Facebook mission.
Yeah, you definitely can.
So there are options out there. I'm not trying to jump on you. I would refute that though. There are options where you can still serve.
Well, there's a few of those
traditional temple.
But I mean the actual traditional way of serving a mission, I feel like should be revamped dramatically, and it would allot for a lot of these, it would alleviate a lot of the mental struggle, I would think, or some of the things that might trigger some of this stuff, could be alleviated if the missions were structured maybe a little bit more.
Like what would you want to change to this bigger structure?
I don't know. For one, I would give me 2 areas total for my entire mission. Right, let me spend a year in one and a year in the other.
That's it. Now, would you want that to be for all missionaries? Because I think that would be a very good approach for those with mental illnesses, because they wouldn't have stuff shaken up so much. But I don't know how that would be for other people.
Yeah, I would want it to be. I would want it to be for all missionaries. I mean, the value in building a great relationship with your ward. I mean, the struggle with that is you have a bunch of crappy missionaries that you've got to intersperse with great missionaries.
That's true, and you have to move them around. It's the same as home teaching.
And so, if you had decent people out there serving, then just leave them in that ward and let them build those relationships with the members and really start to get. I like, as a missionary, when you're thinking to yourself, I can't wait till I go home so I can actually be a friend and have a real relationship rather than just a salesman. Like, you're doing something a little bit wrong, right?
Yeah, it's hard to build those relationships when you spend 2 transfers somewhere. Because like, what are 3 months really going to net when you're in an area?
Well, or you get in there and there's a part of you that just knows that in 6 weeks you're gone. I mean, you're not investing in these people the way that you would typically if you'd been there for months and months.
But yeah,
and so like stuff like that could change. Some of the like the interactions in a member's home might be revisited. Some of that kind of stuff. I don't know what I'd change exactly. I just know that there's a lot of the pace and that like worked really, really well for me, but it did not work very, very well for all of my companions.
Yeah, so. Totally.
Anyway, that's what I was trying to get at before you suggested I was comparing mentally ill people to social anxiety or like some general anti-socialness.
Al, I only work with the words you give me. That's all I have.
Me and Glenn Beck have the same problem. We have the same problem.
This is all it is. You give me the paint and I have the brush. That's all.
We're a great couple.
That's all happens. But I think you have some valid points there. And I think the great thing is we're coming around. We're learning like anybody else, and we're learning how to best facilitate and make it so that people can still serve. And I think the hardest thing though is the stigma associated with not serving. And like you said before, the pressure that you need to go on your mission, you need to do this. And sometimes people who perhaps should not go, and that's okay, go because they feel pressured, and then they might lie about conditions just so they can get their foot in the door. And then that's hard. We shouldn't pressure people in that sense. And I also think we're getting slowly better about that too. If people don't serve for some reason, we're not going to hate on them. If you don't serve because you're just being like a turd and just don't want to go, well then sure, people might judge you. I might judge you and be like, come on, man, get it together. But if you have valid reasons why.
Don't judge, Jeff. Do not judge.
No, I am judging, but I'm not a judge in Israel. Dang it. I gotta.
All right, talk to us about Bryce Harper. This is what I really want to know about.
Guys. Bryce Harper's wedding was supposed to happen over the last weekend, in the San Diego Temple, no less, but it did not. Sources say.
What? Bryce Harper, the pitcher for the Nationals. Yeah.
Well, yeah. See, my in-laws are temple workers in the San Diego Temple, and they leaked the story to me. No, not really, but actually, they are temple workers, but they work on Thursdays. They wouldn't know this. Anyway, this comes out of the Washington Post, relevant because of the Nats playing out here in D.C. But the wedding did not go down. No one knows why. No one knows what's going to happen. There's been no remarks from either party, other than some slight amendments to their social media accounts, like his fiance, for example, Kayla Varner. Her Twitter used to say, like for her bio, student, Ohio State soccer, family, my love, at Bryce Harper. And his said, family, my beautiful fiance, DC, 2020, nothing more, nothing less. And now they just say more generic stuff like, the best is yet to come, or I play baseball. Or,
this is true Mormon soap opera.
There's so much soap opera, so many soap operas this week. So I don't know what's happening. I would like to suggest.
Okay. I'd like to suggest he cheated on her. Look, he's halfway to a man bun. You can't be respected.
Allegedly, I hope that is not the case, and I hope that maybe just some stuff went down.
Or what if she is actually dating his brother? Jeff, we need to write some fan fiction.
This is fan fiction
of their life.
Okay,
it's a good idea.
Likewise, man, we're going a long show today. Likewise, over at just a quick mention,
we got to hurry it up, Jeff.
I love that these people at the BCS Championship, some guys took giant head cutouts of President Uchtdorf, President Monson, President Eyring, but put Oregon, whatever you call it, when you put the grease under your eyes for shadow, whatever that name is. But they put Oregon logos on them, as well as a photoshopped Mitt Romney holding the Heisman Trophy. They took these to, they were out in Arlington, Texas, to the BCS Championship, and waved them, and thankfully they were right behind the goalposts. I love them for doing this. And so there's this great picture of you're sitting behind a goalpost, and President Eyring.
The first presidency in huge head format is there, and Mitt Romney as the Heisman.
Yeah. Another quick one for you. Ann Romney has as much said, jokingly, that if Mitt Romney does run in 2016, he will run as, quote, the first divorced Mormon presidential candidate. So she's saying, don't do it, man.
Dude,
don't do it.
I love that quote. I love that quote by her because everybody's floating that Mitt Romney's thinking about running again. Mitt's like, no. Respect this.
Earn this.
Let's see. Also in Africa, just so you know, they're trying a new ward structure or group structure, I guess. So you know wards,
it's called the cluster.
You know branches. Now there's a cluster. Yeah, they have a parent group that sort of presides over it, but then that cluster can operate in its own. So the parent group would be a ward or a branch where there's served an actual branch president and things of that nature. And then the cluster would just have more loosely called, or not loosely called, I guess, but like it doesn't need a branch president. It just can be like maybe you have a great group of women 1,000 miles away. It could be a cluster.
Yeah,
you could have a cluster.
It's basically a subsidiary of a ward. But I wonder how they work this out, though, because it says they do them in areas where, like you said, if it's geographically inconvenient for members to attend the ward or branch, they meet separately as a cluster, like within walking distance of each other. But a member of the branch presidency or bishopric typically attends and presides over the meeting. So that still means there's some travel involved, and they still function as part of the ward as far as records and
but then you have like a branch president traveling and not an entire
That's what
ward.
I mean. Instead of everybody else, you have the guy who presumably can get out and see people. So I think it's pretty cool. It's kind of being test run in Africa where it's needed. I think this could be useful in all kinds of places, honestly. I mean, there were plenty of places in my mission that were smaller branches were eventually consolidated to make a ward. And people in the more far-flung areas just stopped coming to church because they didn't want to go an hour to get to the chapel, And so, give them a cluster.
Give them a cluster. That should be that's the name of this show. Give the people a cluster.
Give them a cluster. I thought of cluster something else, but I'm not going to use that term.
Yeah. So. There's a cutaway model of the DC temple at the. So if you want to go and see inside the temple. But you don't want to go in the temple, which is a classic conundrum a lot of us suffer.
Like Bryce Harper.
Just go to the visitor center. Go to the temple in the visitor center, but do not go in the temple. Go to the visitor center, and you can see a model of the temple cut in half. So there's some man that loves building little models of houses. They're
big,
very,
though.
Flattered.
You've seen the cutaway one in Salt Lake,
flattered.
right?
It's a dollhouse, Jeff. It is a dollhouse with tiny glued figurines.
Did you ever see the one in Salt Lake?
Yeah, I did.
I like it.
It looked like a dollhouse with tiny figurines.
Anyway, I think it's a useful missionary tool, especially. I've been inside the DC temple dozens of times. It's not as marvelous inside architecturally as like the mysteries of the Salt Lake Temple, because for me, even that was cool to see Salt Lake, because you could see where the First Presidency meets and the 12 and all those other rooms they have. The DC temple does not have those. It's just a bunch of corridors lined on top of each other. But it's still cool to see. So I intend to go check it out.
Jeff, you have been a delight.
Yep, we've got some other stuff that we will put off until next week. I love you, Al. If we hadn't bantered for 20 minutes, we could get to more material. But
it was my own fault. That's on me.
No,
on me.
Al, it's our fault. We're not going to cast stones at one another. We're not doing this whole.
Let us not
own the site.
To that millennial Mormons way.
I own the content. Then, if you ever take Twim away from me, I own like 98% of the content. Ha ha ha.
That's fair, because you've written 98% of the content.
I will take it to my new blog that will be called Musings, a Latter-day Saint perspective.
Last week tonight in Mormons.
It'll be called Last Week in Mormons. We're going to redo our new offshoot show.
All right, man. Well, hey, you guys can reach us. Email us at contact@thisweekinmormons or visit thisweekinmormons.com and leave a comment. We want to hear from you.
Yep, and join us on the various forms of social media, whatever they may be. We appreciate all your interactions on there and you taking the time to be with us. So that's going to be it. Oh, and leave a review on iTunes. Right. I'm going to do a review plug again. Guys, leave reviews. It's helpful. Please do it. And listen for Sunday School Bonanza.
Make them funny. We will read them on air.
That's true, too. We will. Sunday School Bonanza, Third Hour of Power, our sister shows. Make sure to listen to those podcasts. You will not be disappointed. That's it. Al, have a good day and week.
All right, man.
Good luck with your talk. Bye. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Another episode of This Week in Mormons is over. Goodbye.